Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my beautiful rideshare revolutionaries. It's me, Gio. Y'all know who the fuck it is. Filming from something not in my car today. I my Infinity's getting worked on. Nothing big, just alignment and oil change. And I'm like, been such a slow week. I know next week will be better, so I think I'm just gonna pack it in as of Monday through Friday. So yeah, but I figure while I have this free time, I can share a little story with you guys. I just saw a video posted to Reddit of a guy that got pulled over doing 155 miles per hour in a McLaren, and it kind of reminded me of the time that I was given and he was drunk, and it reminded me of the time that I had to do a field sobriety test immediately after dropping off a passenger for Uber. This was 2.5 years ago. This was the weekend before I got fired from my full-time job. This was the Friday before that. And I think it's funny, like a lot of some of the negative comments I see sometimes that are against Uber and Lyft drivers is like, oh, you guys get into way more accidents, you cause more accidents, you get, or the troll math, like, oh, you're not accounting the cost of tickets, you're not accounting the cost of this. Like, guys, I've been pulled over once on app, and that was this past year for speeding. Um, if you're, I mean, and that was only because I spaced out and I wasn't paying attention and I was speeding, so I acknowledge that. Um, and but that was in October, right? But I mean, most of the time I don't know, if you're an unsafe driver, you're an unsafe driver. That's just how it is. If you're an unsafe driver, you're gonna be dealing with the cops way more often. If you're a safe driver, you mind you stay in your lane, literally. You mind the road, you mind other drivers, you're gonna be okay. I mean, shit happens, obviously. Sometimes that's why it's called an accident. It wasn't on purpose, right? It was an accident. No one deliberately came up and hit you, or if you ran a red light and into traffic, like, well, maybe you're just kind of dumb, but you probably did do it on purpose, right? It was an accident. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I personally, out of the probably 19,000 rides I've completed on all the apps, my interactions with law enforcement have been minimal. I mean, that's not bad. Getting pulled over once on app in 4.5 years. No, I mean, a little over 4 years. Yeah, my first ride was in December, end of December 2015. So that's really not bad. And I've only been pulled over twice in the last 5 years. So not too bad. But this is a pretty funny story. Um, it was a Friday night, and I think this was all Uber that night. I might have done one or two Lyft rides, but it was all my rides were in the northern suburbs and around some more affluent suburbs. So if you guys are familiar with the greater Chicago area, Evanston, Winnetka, Northbrook, those kinds, Wilmette, and those are all more affluent suburbs, you want to say. And so typically in those kinds of neighborhoods, um, the cops don't play around. If you do any little thing, they're going to pull you over. So I remember that entire night, I told myself, because like I'm kind of used to driving in Chicago, where um, Chicago cops don't care as much. They'll let you get away with way more. I mean, like 3-point turns in the middle of busy streets. We've all done it. Stuff like that. I don't speed in Chicago most of the time. Uh, no, I don't speed. I'm not a big speeder, but yeah, like I know in those suburbs you really have to be careful. And some of the pastors even told me, like, oh, be careful up here because the cops will pull you over a little thing. I'm like, yeah, I know. Trust me, I'm well aware of that. So I remember this is back when I had my full-time job. So I would work like Friday I'd be at my full-time job around like 8 a.m. So I'd be awake at 7 a.m. maybe 6:30, and I would start driving around 3 or 4. So on that particular day, I started driving around maybe at 3, 4, or 5 p.m. and I dropped off my last passenger like at 1:15 in the morning, and that was in Northbrook. So I started heading east on Lake Cook Road so I can hop on the tollway to head south, because it only would have been like a 15-minute drive home. And I'm like, okay, this will work. So I'm on the Lake Cook Road, and I didn't have my GPS. I didn't have my my map app on because I thought I was familiar enough with where I was to get home on my own. So I was in the right lane, and I was going onto an exit, and then last minute I realized that the exit I was on was not the one I wanted. I wanted to get on the 294 south, but the exit I was currently on was going south on Milwaukee, which I did not want. So I immediately got merged over back onto Lake Cook Road, and I just kept on driving. And then it all happened I can't stand my fingers with my hand. It all happened so fast. I remember I was in the right lane, and I was going about 47, right? And I drove past a speed limit sign that said 35, and just as I got past the sign, I noticed a car came up behind me. And I already knew I'm getting pulled over. Because I realized at that moment, I'm like, yeah, I'm speeding. Yeah, I'm totally speeding. This is no good, right? So he pulls me over. I pulled over right away. The guy comes up. He's like, hey, good evening. Do you know why I pulled you over? And I said, yeah, I was speeding. He's like, yeah, you were. I also noticed you were driving erratically. And I explained to him, I'm like, yeah, I thought that was the 294 south exit, but so I got back on the road. He's like, okay. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing out at this time? Because it was about 1:20 in the morning at this point, 1:20 something. I told him I'm an Uber driver. I just dropped off my last passenger and I'm heading home. He's like, okay. So he walks back. He gets my license. Oh yeah, and by the way, I'm doing everything wrong at this point. Getting pulled over. I didn't turn off my car. I was dead tired, exhausted. I didn't turn off my car. I did everything wrong. Like, I was speeding. I was driving erratically. And he comes back up. He's like, have you got anything to drink tonight? And I said, no, I haven't. He's like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to ask you to step out of the car. I'm like, here we go. Right. So I get out of the car. I walk over to between my car and the police cruiser, and it gives me the eye test, right? You start with the pen, with the flashlight, and he says, just follow the pen with your eyes, don't move your head. I do. I'm doing the whole thing, and I remember I'm telling my, like, I'm so tired. I remember thinking to myself as this is going on, I'm like, I'm gonna fail this fucking eye test. I remember telling myself that. And then as he is completing the eye test, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, if I fail the eye test, it gives me the walk test. I'm so uncoordinated and nervous, I might fail the walk test too. So I'm already thinking to myself, like, I'm planning on asking the officer to give me the breathalyzer. Because I want to tell him, like, I'm not drunk, I'm just tired, please let me go home. Right? So he puts the flashlight and the pen down. He's like, well, sir, I've come to the conclusion you're not under the influence. Have a good night. He shook my hand and he let me go, and I was like, thank you. But you know what? Like, you really can't be. It was all I was not driving correctly. I was speeding. I was going, and I'm gonna leave the screenshot here. The thing was Lake Cook Road, and it's obviously, it's kind of like force of habit. It's a 3-lane road in each direction. So almost like a highway. So part of me thinking, like, when I see a 3-lane road, mentally, I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, this is like a highway. It's like 45 miles per hour, right? A lot of those streets, if you go further west, the speed limit is 45 to 55 miles per hour. But that was my fault for not paying attention. And then the way I kind of was going onto the one exit and then immediately got back on the highway, I didn't turn off my car. It was 1:20 in the morning when he pulled me over. You know, that's about the time you're going to get people who are drinking and driving. And he asked me if I've been drinking, and I said no. Like, yeah, what person's going to admit to drinking, right? So the officer had every reason to think I was under the influence, but I wasn't. So that was, yeah, I got all, you know, he didn't even give me a warning. He's like, yeah, just go home. I was like, all right, cool. That was just, yeah, funny story, something that happened. And it's funny because of the fact that I had this conversation with pastors earlier that night to make sure I'm very mindful of what I'm doing in these neighborhoods, and I still managed to get pulled over. And yeah, that's the first time I've ever had to do a field sobriety test while sober. Good stuff. So yeah, quick video for you guys. Hope you all enjoyed it, and that's all I got for this one. I want to thank you all for watching. Everyone, please stay safe, stay driven, stay classy. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.